Listen to your favorite shows live and on demand 24/7. Download the 77 WABC mobile app now.
Well, we're back, and we are specializing in Brooklyn today, and we have the most famous Brooklynese person on the phone. We have Professor Alan Dershowitz, 60 years at Harvard, and I'll tell you, Professor, you are the best. What are we going to talk about first this morning?
First of all,
go ahead.
You talked about me being famous in Brooklyn, so they put me on the Brooklyn Walk of Fame in Botanic Gardens. And some anti-Israel bigot decided to destroy my little plaque because he thought I was too pro-Israel and pro-American. So my plaque in the Walk of Fame in Brooklyn has been destroyed. I'm hoping they'll fix it, but it tells you a lot about what's going on in the world today.
If they don't fix it, WABC will fix it.
Good. I think the thing to talk about most today, obviously, is what's going on in the Middle East. Should Israel go preemptive? Should they do what they did in 1967? Iran is saying we're going to attack Israel. We're going to get Hezbollah to attack Israel. The United States is saying essentially, well, let them attack. We'll defend you. We'll protect you. Some in Israel are saying, wait a minute, why don't we preempt and go after the Iranian ability to attack us before they can attack us? And so that's a big question that Israelis are thinking about today. The United States is telling them if they preemptively attack Iran, maybe the United States won't help them defend against Iran.
But they may be doing a phony baloney attack, like the phony baloney attack when they fired 300 drones and only one landed out of 300. I mean, whatever people believed in, that was a real attack. I mean, this is, how do they play it in Hollywood? Act 1, Scene 1, so we're down to Act 2, Scene 1.
It's possible, but it's very likely, I think, that Iran will say to itself, look, we were so humiliated. Israel managed to kill the head of Hamas in Tehran, in a guest house, protected by the security services of Iran. We have to get even. We have to do something to kill Israelis. And the head of Iran has said, they're going to kill Israeli civilians, not Israeli military, but Israeli civilians, just the way Hezbollah killed 12 innocent kids playing soccer. So I think Israel has to take this very, very seriously. But, I hope you're right. It would be nice if it was just a symbolic attack and then people could get back to the normal business of just hating each other.
It'll be Act 2, Scene 1. Otherwise, they're going to get a firecracker where they don't want it. Down their refineries.
I think the other issue is this. Who will Kamala Harris pick? And I think it's not so important who she picks. The important thing is what criteria she uses. If she says to herself, look, I'd love to have Josh Shapiro. He will bring me Pennsylvania and win the election, but I can't have Shapiro because he's Jewish. And my radical, progressive, woke anti-Semites on the left of the party, people like...
They said they're going to burn down Chicago if she picked Shapiro.
She picked Shapiro. And then, will she submit to the anti-Semitism? Look, Shapiro's had his problems, too. He made a statement not so long ago saying that Benjamin Netanyahu is among the worst leaders in the world. The worst leaders in the world. He's trying so hard himself to try to pander a little bit to the hard left of the Democratic. He can't believe that. He can't believe that Netanyahu, no matter how critical you might be, is worse than the leaders of Iran and Putin and the leaders of China. And yet he's prepared to put Netanyahu in the category of among the worst leaders in the world. So, he is pandering a little bit to the hard left, too. The point is that the Democratic Party is becoming beholden to the progressive hard left anti-Semites one way or another. And people like me are having a hard time associating not with my father's Democratic Party or my Democratic Party of my youth, but with today's anti-Israel, anti-American, progressive, woke elements within the Democratic Party. That's a real problem for a lot of good, patriotic Americans.
Can anybody believe you were a member of the Democratic Party for 85 years, and you still are a member?
Yeah.
Now, can anybody believe that our former Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, and she might be still Speaker in reality, that she wants to put President Biden's on what
face. His face.
His face
on Mount Rushmore.
On Mount Rushmore. Can you believe that?
No, she's really destroyed her credibility. Look, she refused to come to hear Netanyahu speak. She has embraced the squad. She has just made a fool of herself and putting Biden on, along with Lincoln in Washington is a little much. Yeah.
Professor, how can a few million Palestinians have such influence in the Democratic Party?
Oh, because it's not the Palestinians, it's the hard left. Remember, the left was supportive of Israel until the Soviet Union turned against Israel, and then the Communist Party turned against Israel. And once the Communist Party turned against Israel, the Socialist Democrats of America turned against Israel. And so it's become a kind of paradigm for the hard left. It really has nothing to do with Israel or the Palestinians. It has to do with whether you're anti-American. And if you hate America, you're going to hate Israel, and you're going to become anti-Israel. And you're right. Why should the Palestinians who've turned down statehood in 1948, 1967, 2000, 2001, 2005, 2007, they could have had states. Nobody should be sympathetic to the Palestinian leadership today. Should be sympathetic to the Palestinian people who have been so upset and hurt by the leadership. Thank God, finally, the head of Hamas has been killed, and the head of Hezbollah has been killed. That will help the Palestinian people. But it's not about the Palestinian people. These kids who are protesting on campus know nothing about the Palestinians. They hate America. They're protesting against America.
Well, Professor Dershowitz, anything else you want to tell the American people? Judge Weinberg, you have a Brooklyn question for...
Great.
Alan, good morning.
Good morning.
We grew up in Steeplechase and Ebbets Field together, I remember. So
I have the 1947 Brooklyn Dodger National League Championship ring. I'm wearing it right now. That's how far back I go in Brooklyn. I remember when Jackie Robinson came up to bat, and we persuaded our rabbi to make a blessing for him.
Yeah, I remember watching Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, Duke Snider. Yeah. This is what I want to ask you. When Kamala Harris goes out there and says there's only one solution, there's only one choice to be made, you have to have a two-state solution, I keep asking myself, that's swell, it sounds great, but who's going to govern that territory in Gaza? The Iranians are going to take it over if Hamas succeeds in surviving.
And they will survive if the United States keeps putting pressure on Israel, and there'll never be any kind of two-state solution or any solution as long as Hamas is in power. Even the United States government has recognized that if you keep Hamas in power, there can't be a two-state solution because one of the states will be dominated by Hamas. And why would any country ever, like Israel, accept a neighbor who's sworn to destroy it, who doesn't recognize its right to exist? I had dinner with Abbas not so long ago, and I asked him, would you recognize Israel as the nation state of the Jewish people? He said no, he won't do it. And it's hard to have a two-state solution when one state won't recognize the other state.
It's a mess. It's a mess. Professor Dershowitz, thank you for speaking out always, and God bless you. God bless America, and God bless the whole world, because we need God's blessing.
We need it. We need it.
We need it. Thank you. We'll talk to you later.